Hi, my name is Luna. Welcome to my channel. To begin, I'd like to say that my intention with this channel is to use my past experience with meth addiction and heroin addiction and my own personal insights on my recovery to help others. I also have mental illnesses. I have borderline personality disorder and PTSD. And while I'm not perfect, I believe that through shared experience, we heal. And it helps to have someone to relate to. I know that my favorite YouTube channels are those where I can get insight and just hear other people's similar and shared experiences so that I know that I'm not alone. With that being said, I'm also a tarot reader, as you may be able to see my Ouija board back here. And then I also have, my little cabinet with tarot cards and weird, like, witchy bottles and stuff. So on this channel, my intention is to discuss a little bit of both of those different topics and also to show y'all some of my crafty endeavors, because those are ways that I cope and heal from my difficult past and through my traumatic experiences and also from my own addictions. Blah, I can't talk. This is absolutely my first video, if y'all cannot tell. And if I stutter or if it's not very high quality, y'all just bear with me. I'm the kind of person who learns through experience, and the more experienced I become with this, I feel like the better quality that my videos are going to be. With that in mind, my first video is going to be about how I want to bring awareness to the least commonly discussed side effect of crystal methamphetamine, and that is permanent psychosis. Let me tell you, there is a chance that if you try meth, you will never be the same person again. Sorry, this necklace is like killing me. There is a chance that if you do crystal meth, you may never come back from a meth trip. Okay? Let's get that out of the way. And I know this because I'm one of those few people. Now, you may say, well, you look pretty normal. Or maybe you're not saying that. Maybe I seem crazy. I don't know. And I function pretty well. And I'm not all the time, like, having these psychosis symptoms. But I have them pretty regularly. And I never really had them to the extreme that I have them now until I did crystal meth every single day for a long period of time. And I feel like that it completely changed me. What made me want to do this video was that I saw a lot of people doing these types of videos where they were talking about their meth-induced psychosis or their experiences with meth. And when I watched it, I saw how they brought up the topic of psychosis. But what I did also notice was that most of them said that, upon stopping using the crystal methamphetamine, that their psychosis went away. I have been clean from meth since November of last year, and I still have symptoms of psychosis. I still hear voices. I still have extremely crazy delusions, and I still have to kind of like distance myself sometimes from people because I get way overwhelmed in social situations, and I wasn't like that before I did meth. Now let me backtrack. Meth-induced psychosis is basically when somebody, after using meth, a lot of times after staying up for days, maybe not eating right, using meth pretty habitually, rather than just going into that frantic and like manic state that most meth heads go into, they go into their head. They go inwards rather than outwards. Because I don't know about you, but anytime that I've ever thought about meth, I thought about somebody like geeking and tweaking and like cleaning things and running around, kind of acting crazy, but more so like hyper. When you use the word crazy for a meth head, I thought hyper. I didn't think like hallucinating. Okay, hallucinating is something that I associate with like tripping on mushrooms or like tripping on acid. Like meth wasn't something like, if you would have told me 15 years ago that meth caused people hallucinations, I would have laughed in your face because I thought that was just bullcrap. I mean, I really did. I thought maybe that was like something your dare officer told you to make you scared of using the drug. But I'm getting ahead of myself again. So, when I first started doing meth in 2014, it did just make me really, really hyper. It made me, after I'd been on heroin for so long, which is a drug that makes you kind of nod out, meth was like a welcome reprieve. It was like I could get up. I could do things again. Like I felt like a part of myself had been missing, and I'd finally found a part of myself. Now, when I say that, I'm not encouraging anybody to do meth because meth is the absolute devil. Meth starts out kind of good, or at least you think it's good, I guess, because you're in such a manic and like you feel like your confidence is beyond anything it's ever been. You feel so just, it's crazy the euphoria that you feel. But it's a lie. Because at the same time, you are learning and rewiring in your brain that meth is all that you need to survive. Like you're telling your brain that meth is the greatest thing and you need more and more and more and more of it, while things like eating and spending time with your family and getting things done in your life and being a responsible and motivated human being, that meth is all that you need. So like you quit eating, you quit sleeping, and this went on for about a year the first time. And then I quit. I didn't want to quit, but I quit. And I quit for about 3 years. And because I wasn't done yet, I started back again in 2018. And when I started back again, I thought that I was a functioning addict because I worked all the time. I was very, very, like, I got up, I did everything I had to do around my house, all my bills were paid. But at the same time, all of my goals, all of my dreams, all of my ambitions, and all of my relationships were crumbling. And so was my mental health. But I wouldn't tell anybody that. Really, what I thought was going on was, and hey, look, here's my dog, Zelda. So what I thought was going on was I thought that I had a haunted house, okay? This is how it started. And, like, I would just, like, feel like something was watching me. Or, like, I would hear things, like sounds and noises, and, I thought that maybe, like, doors were being opened and stuff. But really, later on, now that I think about it, I feel like that I was so high and so, like, scatterbrained that maybe I would leave these doors open and I wouldn't remember it. So then I'd immediately ghost, and it was crazy. But then I was also, like, seeing things, like, out of the corner of my eye, like shadows, and, like, having a lot of sleep paralysis. And really, a lot of the things that were going on sound like what most people describe as a demonic presence. But when it dawned on me that it wasn't a ghost, that there was something going on inside my brain, I had a friend over, and she was, like, super sketch and super paranoid, and, like, she was what you would say was wigged out. And she just kept saying all these crazy things, and, like, it got inside my head. Like, she wigged me out. Like, she was talking about the watchers and, like, people who were, like, assigned to watch you and protect you. It was crazy stuff that she was saying. Like, it was so scary that we were, like, 30 miles away from home, and I took her out of my way another 45 minutes while I was working, because I used to do, like, a route, a paper route, and I dropped her off at a gas station and made her boyfriend come pick her up and said, I'm sorry, I can't with you right now. Like, I just can't. But by then, my brain is already turning and reeling, and, like, at this point, I feel like I'd been hearing stuff all night, I thought that my boyfriend had said something to me that morning before I went to work that he didn't say it. I thought that girl was, like, trying to watch me when I was taking a shower. And after I dropped her off, like, I kept thinking that there's something in my car, in the backseat of my car. And then when I would get out of my car and I would go into my stops, I would see white vans almost everywhere that I went, because there were other people delivering things as well to these gas stations. But I didn't think about that. I thought that they were men trying to kidnap me. And then I start hearing like whistles and noises, and finally I finish my round and I go home. And at this point, I can hear my friend and her boyfriend and my addict talking. And I thought that they were in my house so much that I got a gun. Okay? I got a gun. And I walked around my house yelling at them. I finally realized that they weren't there, that I was losing it. And when my boyfriend got there, we went to the store. And I thought that I could make myself, normal back out. We're in Walmart now. And we're walking around in Walmart, and all throughout Walmart, I feel like that I can hear my friend. And I told my boyfriend this, and he's like, "Are you sure? Are you okay?" And I'm like, I know, maybe I'm not. So then we get home, and we're standing in the kitchen. And all of a sudden, it sounds like there's somebody below me underneath my floorboards going, sorry, I didn't mean to but it sounds like somebody's beating on the floor from underneath, saying, "Let me out! Let me out!" And I jumped. I screamed. And my boyfriend is like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And I said, "You didn't hear that?" And he said, "No, baby, I didn't hear that." And then I hear somebody else. And then I start hearing like this like horror music, like the theme song to like the Freddy Krueger, that old horror movie. Like, I'm hearing things like that all of a sudden. And it's like my entire reality shifted. And now I'm like from regular reality to like this horror fucking movie. But with that being said, see, I'm starting to like hear stuff a little bit now. With that being said, me and my boyfriend both decided that it was probably meth-induced psychosis. It was very hard for me to agree to that, because I was just so sure that I was hearing these things, and I knew there was something wrong with me at the very least. Like, I thought I had schizophrenia. And the sad part is that going through this didn't stop me. I would sit at home every night working from home and stay up all night long doing math, hearing the Freddy Krueger theme song, hearing the devil, hearing like demons, like seeing ghosts walking around my house. And I wanted to get high so bad that I didn't stop. I wouldn't stop. What finally made me stop was that, let's see, like the beginning of 2020, I started having delusions. And I'm not going to talk about what my delusion was, but let's call it a jealousy delusion. Like, I felt like that my boyfriend or my husband was doing things behind my back, and no matter what type of evidence that he showed me, I was convinced of it. Like, everything that he did, I was convinced was an action that either he was going to hurt me or that he was doing something deceptive behind my back. Like, I really thought he was going to kill me one time. I thought that so much that I called my mom. And it just, after so long, between my delusions and like hearing like demons and hearing, it was like I was in a horror movie, and all the worst, most traumatic and scariest stuff, from paranormal things to like real life things, were all happening when they weren't happening. But the meth was making my brain, so I figured if I quit that it would make it stop. Okay. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe one day it will. But like I said, I've been sober since November. So that's November, December, January, February, and now we're in the middle of March. It's like 5 months I've been sober. And I still hear voices in the background. They're not as loud anymore, but I still hear them. My delusions resurface because they're so ingrained in my mind. Like, I even had a delusion that, like, because there's a demon called Baal who is like the Lord of the Flies. And the flies were considered, I think, by Hebrews, and you can look this up. Maybe I'm wrong. But I looked it up. I did a lot of research about it when I was on meth, and like flies are associated with demons. They're like thought to be like demonic watchers, like watching us for the devil or something. So every time I see a fly, like I'd immediately like this weird like backwards orchestra music would start playing in my mind, my reality would shift, and I would start hearing like demons, and these flies are buzzing around, and I'm hearing these weird instrumentals going on, and I'm telling you, like, it was the most intense but realistic trip. And I knew that these things weren't real, but at the same time, when you are experiencing a hallucination that is as real as your reality, you can tell yourself all day long that you're not looking at a dragon. But if you see a dragon that's as real as, say, this incense stick is to me right now, and I'm telling you, when I say that, when I saw like demons and stuff, they looked as real as this did. And I knew, because of the fact that dragons aren't real, and sorry if I offended anybody, but I knew because dragons weren't real that the dragon wasn't real. You know, dragon, that's just an example. I'm talking about, like, I saw demons and stuff, and ghosts, and like other horrible, scary, horrifying things. But I knew that they weren't real. But the worst part of things is that even when you know that your delusion isn't real, your brain is wired that when you sense something, you see something, you smell something, you feel something, you hear something, that your brain cannot understand that that's not real. Even if you accept that it's not real, you will fight yourself. And it's like this tug of war. And it made me even crazier. I mean, even to this day, like, I will be sitting there telling myself that those voices aren't real, but I can't stop listening to them. Like, I'll be having a conversation with somebody, and all of a sudden, like, and I think that what it is that I'm really, really sensitive to, like, stimulus. So let's say that I was talking, you know, to a best friend of mine, and we're sitting there having a conversation. Well, her air conditioner cuts on, okay? And then when her air conditioner cuts on, now, like, I don't hear the air conditioner. I hear, like, people talking. And when I hear people talking, even if I know, like, I'm telling, like, I'll sit there and, okay, that's the air conditioner. But it sounds like someone's talking. You know, this is what's going on in my head. I lose complete focus of trying to listen to them, and I can't listen anymore. And now I'm listening to the air conditioner, trying to tell myself it's just an air conditioner, you know. And they're just looking at me like, hello, can you hear me? And it's so embarrassing. You know, I can't focus on anything. I can't keep a conversation going half the time. Now, like I said, I'm not always like this. I function. I have a good job. I keep my house clean. Like, I deal with a lot of depression. But for the most part, I'm a pretty highly functioning person. You know, like, I read tarot cards professionally, and I do a really good job, and I love my readings. It's the only time that I can truly focus on something, and I don't think about or hear anything. It's me, my tarot cards, my client, and my intuition, and I can't focus on anything else, and it helps me. And I love my job. I love my career more than anything. You know, I work for a hotline, and it's really my favorite thing to do ever. Like, I enjoy it. I truly do enjoy my job most days. You know, everybody has a bad day, even with something they're passionate about. But it's so perturbing to me, it's so disturbing that more people don't talk about the fact that there is a chance that if you start doing meth, that even if you recover from it, even if you stop using it, that you will have left your brain permanently damaged. I qualify for a schizophrenia diagnosis because I wanted to have a little more energy, and that I didn't want to think about things, you know, and I hate the fact that I did meth. I hate the fact that I isolated, that I hurt my family, that I ignored my family, that I killed my empathy, that I almost killed myself numerous times. And, you know, I hate myself for that. And I still have such a hard time overcoming the grief, the shame, and the trauma of just that. But then, you know, not only was my addiction in that dirty, disturbing, disgusting world, but my experience also involved hallucinations. And that was traumatic as well for me. So I'm going to end the video on this note. Because now, I promise you, I want to say this, that recovery is possible. So if you're watching this and you're on meth and you're dealing with psychosis, do not give up. Because, like I said, all of my symptoms are much more controllable. But I wish that I had stopped sooner so that I wouldn't still be stuck with some of these symptoms. And I'm not going to say that they'll never go away, but they haven't yet. And that's my reality right now. And I'm dealing with it. I have no desire to do meth. This is how bad my experience was. That when I think about meth, I get horrified. Like, I have nightmares, where I'll do meth. And it's a nightmare. It's a literal nightmare. Like, the entire time I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? And I'm crying. Like, don't ever touch meth. Don't do it. Don't touch it. If you're on it, get off of it. Make a list of all the horrible things that you've done or that have happened because of your addiction to meth. Get that in your mind. Educate yourself on what meth can do to you, because it can fry your brain. You can be stuck in a permanent state of delusion and psychosis beyond what I have, to the point where you can't function and you'll have to live in a padded room with a straitjacket on. I mean, literally, that could happen. You could kill somebody. And if you've done any of those things or you're going through any of that, please know that everybody has a coming back point. But there is a point of no return. And please stop before you reach it. If this video has been triggering, I'm so sorry. I did not make it to be triggering. I made it because I really want to bring awareness. If you too have dealt with meth-induced psychosis, or if you have like schizophrenia symptoms since using meth, even after recovery, please let me know in the comments below. Share your experiences with me. If you like the video, please subscribe, comment, hit that notification button. I promise you there will be more content like this. I'm going to go ahead and end the video now. It's getting to the 20-something minute point, and I don't want to waste your time. I know most people don't want to watch a video much longer than 20 minutes. But I really just wanted to share my experiences, to kind of introduce myself, and to get started on this channel. With that in mind, peace. Recovery is possible. We do recover. I feel better than I felt in my whole, I'll say in the past. I feel better than I felt since I was 20 years old, before I was even a drug addict. I will say that. I'm a lot more attuned. I'm a lot more aware. I'm a lot more educated on myself. And now I know what I'm capable of, the good and the bad. And I'm growing from the bad. I'm a lot more aware of myself, with my traumas, with my fears, with my limits, with my boundaries, with my expectations, with my goals, and with my vision. And I know what I want out of life, and I know what I need to do. I know what I'm good at. I'm ready to live my life, and I have been since I've been in recovery. And it was only when I stopped using meth that I was able to truly start that journey. Anyway, everyone have a nice evening. I might be back in a little bit with another vlog. I don't know. Peace out.